Yeah. I'll bubble it out.
Sitting anywhere. Sat in every single seat on this room.
Yeah.
The past 2 days.
Should we go first?
Yeah, go for it. Cool, so literally, if you can try and be really to the point, we've got about a minute to practice.
With this CBM campaign, we thought recruitment was really good, the conference has been really good, training's good. And there was one thing that I had was about that my other Birmingham person isn't here. I suppose I just feel a bit weird about it because it's like I know all this stuff and I've been here and I've done all this effort and then they haven't even like contacted me or like, I don't know what I mean, it feels a bit weird. Like maybe if they'd contacted me and told me they weren't coming and like we'd spoken about it and I'd write notes to them or something, I just feel a bit like,
Just
So
like that
maybe-
link before.
Yeah.
So maybe if you could like tell each other who like their partners at the uni before, then you could sort of.
because it just, I turned up and then just here and I was like, I don't know, I suppose I feel like I'm doing it alone.
And it would have been, I think it would have been cool if we'd gone on the train together, like in London or something.
I just said I wanted to sleep, but plan of action. Oh yeah, we said that something we could have, a little task that we could have done today is to kind of go off into groups and talk about our plan of action. Or I know we're going to do that anyway, but just to bounce ideas off of each other in groups. To actually write down, okay, what's the first thing we're going to do when we go back to uni?
Yeah.
We can share it with each other and improve
It's like
one another's.
a head start, really.
Yeah.
So we're not really too worried when we start.
Yeah, so we get them, we like know what we're going to do straight away kind of thing. Instead of being like, don't actually know, but yes.
And then, yeah, I wanted to, like, I was curious to know if you could sponsor maybe like Student Oyster, because if you could like sponsor that, every single student in London would have a Student Beans account. I mean, every single student in London has an Oyster card, and if you can sponsor a Student Oyster card, then
There already is a Student Oyster card you can put. It's like a little intake. 16 to 25 rail card. You go to them with your Oyster card, third off.
Yeah,
we've got that.
Oh.
But if you have to sign up to Student Beans and then you get it for free instead of for £3 or whatever it is, like, then that would be
maybe to sign up.
So if you could get a free Oyster card that way, rather than having to purchase an Oyster card, because it's a £3 deposit originally, or something like that. So yeah.
The only other thing is like maybe more localised deals. Like in Lancaster, there's no Cineworld, for example, and that's the main offer that I always use. But like at home, but in Lancaster, there's nothing. So if there's more localised deals, more people at Lancaster would obviously join.
It just means that more students over the whole country that live in little villages that don't have big chain restaurants and stuff can join as well, so it's getting every student.
Okay, brilliant. Thank you very much.
Okay, you can't really read it, but we
actually said like recruitment was. We know you weren't going for sort of a really over recruitment, but I remember once I sent off my CV and you take it off the website, I actually couldn't find any details about the CBM program, and I remember thinking, like, I didn't actually know whether or not it was paid or not, and I didn't want to email and like ask, but there should be somewhere that you can find out what you're actually going to be doing.
yeah, and like the hours you're expected to do.
Yeah, like there was
no
no
it was very
information.
sort of an open thing.
And what sort of thing are expected to do is that kind of thing?
Also, like, I know that it was your game plan not to recruit to lots of people, but I kind of think that you'll just like attract like better class
Yeah, I think you'll get
than
there.
you do, because like all of us, most of us found it by chance, or like our friends told us about it. Like I wouldn't have looked for it and found it, so like surely better people will apply potentially, or like maybe not, but then
More
you can just say
committed
no
people
to
who are
them.
looking for like this kind of program. So.
And then we know you don't pay, so like maybe pay because that's an incentive. or like if you don't want to pay, then we thought maybe if you had like the top 10% or 20% or 30% or like 100%, if they got like guaranteed internships at the end. But like if you did really well, or like even if it wasn't like numbers wise the top 10, but like the people who'd like shown the best commitment, if they got a guaranteed internship, because then it's win-win for you because we're so employable.
Out of curiosity, how many of you would be interested in an internship? Okay.
Yeah, and we don't think you should have more than 2 people per union.
Yeah, we didn't think.
There was a bit of a debate in our thing about whether you should have more unis. Because I thought like the more unis you have, the more students you're reaching. But then they said there was way more work for you. So.
Yeah, because you would have to monitor our progress essentially, and then it would take less time from actually developing a website and like developing a brand. So you'd have to employ more people to monitor us whilst you can get on with your tasks you already do.
But potentially,
Yeah.
who knows? Whatever you think. Yeah.
And then the ways we said you could get to sort of every student was like partnerships with like UCAS or universities themselves. We were talking about registration, how everyone does that at uni, everyone has to go to a computer and sign and register. And if you had some sort of thing that said also register these student beings, and it's a long shot,
But both work together, so
People would kind of assume it was mandatory.
Yeah,
even though
student
it's
beings
not.
go to the UCAS
But,
website, and UCAS, like all their recommendations about uni and advice and everything would be published on the student beings website, and you refer back to the UCAS website. And
Or student loans,
yeah, student
taking a
loans.
flyer and all the letters.
Oh yeah, like when you get like your loan statements or something like that, just like in the post, just like like one student beings flyer or something. So when you get to all that, you like get your loan and you think, oh, what's this? Money saving.
I know we were just talking about sponsor actual events and a uni like freshers and sort of like varsity games and things like that. But obviously that's money. That's sort of a lot of money, as you've been saying. But like
Yeah,
one,
uni
if you sponsored
registration.
one night on a freshers like night in Nottingham, everyone would remember that you sponsored it that one night. So yeah,
That's it.
Yeah, basically go for compulsory stuff and try and like jump on that.
Simple down.
Brilliant, thank you. Next week.
So the fifth question we're asking it up there, better ties with the university union, so it's not as hard for us to go in and try and explain what we do, so we're better understood by them and not that we're their enemies or we're working with them. Just easy to know.
Well, possibility for future placement, individual budget for marketing.
Yeah, so just like to give us more responsibility over what we get to do, like how many flyers we want compared to how many like fees we want, so we know how much we're spending and how much we're kind of getting from that.
Oh, we've got, you could have more unis, which obviously was and you could have like a mentor. I know you didn't do the programme last time, but say like if you had people they could like mentor us, so if you had someone like a person who mentor me. And a trip to the London office. Night out in London office.
And also like if you did have more unis, like someone from every uni, you could organise it regionally, so you've got someone from Scotland, someone just to kind of oversee everyone rather than like it all being concentrated in England, where it's difficult to kind of get information out and receive feedback.
Then set up every student by linking with UCAS in some way, because we kind of figured that every student has to go through UCAS before they're students, and kind of getting the big books with them might help. Probably not enough. And get into school leavers early, like before they actually leave school, and become students, like school beans for teenagers.
That's basically just trying to make better ties with the unis and maybe putting the beans in with the welcome packs that you always get when you move into halls, just that's always full of freebies and flyers.
You kind of think you should look at that if you're giving it on the first day, that would also.
Yeah, because then practice will stay in it.
Yeah.
Great, thank you very much.
Okay, so to encourage sign-ups, we thought maybe hand out a free t-shirt when they sign up, because all we use is t-shirts, and it's a way for people to like get the brand campus as well.
We also said something like, instead of having the vouchers, you could have some sort of like student beans all-inclusive card. So if you went into one of the places that had a deal on, and just had like the student beans.
Yeah. Do you want to just concentrate outside just 1 minute?
Yeah.
Just a chance, 1 minute. Sorry, really quick, guys. Because
yeah, so just have like a card. I know it's a bit like NUS, but like you could just like have it, and then instead of individual pieces of paper.
Maybe sponsor some sports teams kits or
And
A lot of this stuff's still
yeah, pretty much like improving the campaign, like just sort of having maybe like giving a list of contacts, maybe like so like at the uni, like influential people or something, or any like around. Yeah. But everything's been said before.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Thank you very much. Cool. When all of these people come in, we're just saying thanks to them, and if you can give them like a huge round of applause, like the one we practiced yesterday.
We're going to get some alibi drinks as well.
But if
you can like stand up,
yeah, and like
scream,
but just
and go
the
crazy.
teams are not good enough. So
Did you
so just all set when we supporting and doing everything and helping us in the karting. I think was really, really fun. Despite my wheel being broken, which I think was rigged. I don't know who did it or how much they paid you, but that's not very funny. But anyway, no, thank you so much. It was absolutely amazing. And we've got some chocolates for all of you and the team to share and to go around. But thank you so, so much. I know everyone's like really, really appreciating it. Had a great time. So just one big round of applause for the team.
How very fun. Very fun. Thank you. Right. Thank you very much for all those bits of feedback. Really, really useful. Definitely some things we're going to take on board. Where are we at now? Perfect. So yeah, thank you very much. I really hope you've enjoyed the last couple of days. It's not quite over, but it will be very, very soon. I just going to run us through the agenda of kind of everything that we've been kind of covering and just kind of just to kind of summarise the 2 days. So we kind of started off, if you could remember back to tomorrow morning, all that time ago. We walked over from the station. We kind of went through kind of welcome and introductions. James kind of gave a bit of a history and a kind of overview of kind of the company and kind of kind of behind the beans. I think remember James kind of inspiring few words that we did kind of shared with us after we did that kind of human bingo and those word games. We went through kind of your role as campus brand manager, about being kind of an ambassador for the brand on campus. We went through those brand values and kind of how to kind of represent those on campus. And we went into kind of communication and kind of talking the Bean talk, how to write the brand name and the logo, talking about those kind of examples, tailoring our message, those example kind of lecture shouts and kind of that elevator pitch that we did, and we went through about kind of how to actually kind of sell the concept to student beans even though we're not actually selling something. We went through kind of the key activities and getting results. So we went through those examples of things that we've seen work well in previous years. We went through that kind of structure of the campaign around kind of the on-campus awareness raising, the online promotional stuff, and the kind of PR, the idea generation, kind of linking that into the Chartered Institute Marketing Awards. Hopefully you can saw the correlation between kind of how we've kind of suggested what you're doing and how that kind of ties in really tightly to the Chartered Institute Marketing certificate. Hopefully you all kind of had fun putting together your viral videos, which will be kind of upload and the link sent to you very soon. I think we kind of had a good time now for kind of dinner last night as well. I think we were all kind of pretty tired, but hopefully you enjoyed that still. And today, obviously you kind of went through, you can watch those videos back. We talked through those kind of marketing plans, touched on pressures, told you about those competitions, and just now you've given us lots of really useful feedback. So we've covered quite a lot in 2 days. Hopefully you've kind of taken it all in and it's been kind of useful and informative. And now I wanted to
see that.